We're going to have an exciting show.
On today's episode, we break down the biggest moments from last week's college football and a surprising week in the NFL. Plus, we dive into the latest Texas athletics news, including the Longhorns' upcoming SEC debut. All this and more on the 1-0 show.
Around and what we expect from it. We talk about Texas's inconsistent start in Big 12 play for men's basketball. We'll finish with some talk about our women's basketball team. So we got a packed show today.
I got to go the other way. You know, Texas A&M, they got a lot of identity issues. Are they an agricultural school? Are they military? Are they blue collar? Are they academics? They're all over the place. So
now, I'm always a sucker for a one-handed catch. I have tiny hands. I need 3 of them just to catch a football. So this one-handed grab in the end zone, that's just super impressive in my eyes. That's going to be my play of the week.
Mayo pour on college game day. Look at this. Just the guy and the North Carolina, South Carolina game. He's just straight eating it, shirt off, rubbing it on his body.
Hey, listen, the Cinderella story ends here, Texans. I'm sorry, man. The chariots turns back into the pumpkin. It struck midnight. Whatever you want to say. I think it ends here.
Good morning from the 1-0 Sports Show. It's a great time to be a Longhorn, being ranked #1 in the nation right now, and also going to play Mississippi State in its first ever SEC game yesterday. And while game day approaches us, I hope you brought sunscreen, Longhorn Nation. It's gonna be hot. 3:15 kickoff. You know what? I think I might save the sweat for the stadium. I think I might take the Cap Metro bus to the game. And that's because this episode is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at capmetro.org. And I know who's also going to join me on that Cap Metro bus, my co-host Raymond Gorvie. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, TJ. We got an exciting show today. We got who's hot, who's not. So let's get into that.
Yes, sir. Let's go. So, as always, every single week with 1-0, we start off with the who's hot, who's not. Raymond, do you want to start us off today?
Yes. So my first person who's hot, that would be Xavier McKinney. To me, he is the best free agent acquisition in the league so far into the first 3 weeks of the season. 3 games, 3 interceptions. And in total, the Packers defense has actually been lights out this season. With the new addition of Joe Heffley. He worked miracles on me, baby. We finally got a DC, and he's completely changing this Packers defense. But most importantly, Xavier McKinney, he's playing at an all-pro level at this rate, $67 million signing, and he's proven his worth to the Packers so far.
Yeah, very dominant performance against Tennessee this weekend for Green Bay. For my who's hot, I'm going to go with Aaron Judge. Look, you're not a Yankees fan. I'm not a Yankees fan. But this dude is on a tear. You gotta appreciate the greatness. Look, he just hit his 57th home run Wednesday against the Orioles, making it his 4th straight game he homered in. He also racked up his 140th RBI, which is the first time a player has done that since 2009. The Yankees are sitting a little there. You know, they haven't clinched the division yet, but they are right there in the driver's seat. I have to go with Aaron Judge with my who's hot. I think he deserves it. So. But enough of the positive stuff. Let's get to what people really like. Who you hating on this week? Who's not hot for you?
The Jacksonville Jaguars, but most importantly, Trevor Lawrence. Man, he is not playing up to his potential. As a matter of fact, he has regressed. He has dropped down to a 75% quarterback rating. That's the lowest since his rookie season in the NFL. So he obviously threw an interception to God's miracle worker right there himself, DeMar Hamlin. But Trevor Lawrence, again, he's the 4th highest highest paid quarterback in the league. At the moment when he signed his contract, he was the highest paid quarterback. Since then, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, and I believe Justin Herbert just passed him. So, but again, he's not playing up to his contract so far through these 3 weeks, and that plays a big factor into why the Jaguars are 0-3.
Yeah, it's just embarrassing for him. I think he's getting paid like $55 million a year right now. He is the 3rd highest, I think, and I mean, my goodness, 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, Josh Allen doubled his season total against him. I believe that was I'm sorry? Yeah, in 1/2. He doubled it in 1/2. I was getting there. He doubled it in 1/2. It's just insane that the Jacksonville's paying Trevor Lawrence that much. They go 0-3 and throw 2 touchdowns. But for my who's not, this one, you know, you might not think that Matthew Sluka is going to make that much of a difference for UNLV, but this is for the program. in the years coming. Look, they just screwed up their program so badly. They're first of all 3-0 before this was announced over the weekend. The starting QB Matthew Sluka would leave the team after NIL expectations were not met. He was offered $88,000 less than what he was supposed to get, and it was announced that a backup running back would also leave the team after they did not meet expectations for him either. I don't know what UNLV was thinking. Maybe they thought that the fact that the proximity to the Strip and Las Vegas was going to get them through this, but the kids weren't buying it. Look, they're going to get set back for years now. I think they're going to be a one-star in college football EA 2026. It's not looking good for the Rebels after a great start this season. I think this really puts their program in the gutter.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's move on. Let's get on to what's trending in the sports world this week. And so the first one we're going to talk about, so after 3 weeks of the NFL season, there's been a lot of good teams playing so far. 5 undefeated teams right now remain. So for you, Raymond, who is the most surprising 3-0 start for you?
Yes, of course, like you said, there are 5 teams that are 3-0, and they're all been impressive. But to me, the most surprising one is the Pittsburgh Steelers. No one has expected Justin Fields to come in under center and be able to manage, not lead, I would say manage the offense. He is doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing what Mike Tomlin and the rest of the Steelers offensive staff is asking him to do, making simple throws, simple completion, slowly building them into the game behind a solid run game. But the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, if there's one thing that you can count on, death, taxes, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have a phenomenal defense. TJ Watt is out there sacking people with his aura. Just ask Will Levis. But like I said, the Pittsburgh Steelers to me are the most surprising team, and I feel like Justin Fields has solidified that position as his. Sorry, Russell Wilson, you're going to have to ride the bench this year.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields has proved himself. It's been a great start for the Steelers. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings with their schedule and what has happened to this team in the offseason. I just don't think anyone thought that the Minnesota Vikings would be 3-0 to start the season. Their defense held the Texans' offense to just 7 points and the 49ers' offense to just 17, while putting up 34 and 23 respectively in those games. And, I mean, who the heck thought that Sam Darnold was going to be out here throwing darts like he has been so far? He's been dominant in the red zone. He has 6 touchdowns so far this season, the most in the league in the red zone, not to mention 8 throwing touchdowns on the season overall, which is the most in the NFL as well. He just downright looks good. Finally, I have to admit, it's kind of cool to see him do well, especially after his tenure with the Jets where he was seeing ghosts and all that. But the Vikings, they also have a run game finally. Aaron Jones has played great for them so far. I don't think anyone would have really expected them to be 3-0 for sure. All right, so the next topic that we have is conference play has just started in college football for a lot of the conferences. With that comes top-tier matchups. Which Week 4 result was the most impressive to you?
To me, it would be Michigan's win over USC. I did not expect Michigan to be able to beat USC, especially I believed in USC's defense, which USC's defense did enough to win the game, but the offense, Lincoln Riley and that offense showed that they are not ready for the physicality of the Big Ten Conference. And then being able to, Michigan did what they similarly did last season in Happy Valley and Penn State, with depending on their running game. Alex Orji only had 4 passing attempts in the second half. So leaning on that running behind Kalen Mullins, 157 yards behind Donovan Edwards, 75 rushing yards to a phenomenal win and put Michigan back in that playoff race. But we'll see how they'll fare with that quarterback position going into the rest of the deeper in conference play.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Michigan has some problems at the quarterback position, but they did get a good win against USC, put them back in the playoff race. For me, this might not be the most surprising, and definitely not with the spread, but Colorado being able to extend the game to OT and then eventually win it was absolutely electric. It was a night game. It was one of the only games on at this point. Yes, it's Baylor, but it doesn't take away the excitement of being able to pull off a comeback when all hope seemed to be lost, especially after having a dropped pass right next to the end zone right before the Hail Mary to get them into overtime. We've seen games where teams pull off a miracle to go to overtime just to lose, but Colorado kept it together. They were able to get that fumble right there that was turned out to be a touchback and ended the game. The game was absolute cinema. It's my game of the week. All right, so anyways, that's going to be it for our first block. When we come back, we will have our guest Colin Flickinger on to judge our best highlights of the sports world. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the One and O show. Today we have someone making their special. We have a special guest making their debut here today. Colin Flickinger here to judge our best highlights from the sports world this week. Colin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I got all my assignments done. Texas is #1 in the country. It's looking to be nice weather this weekend. Not 99 degrees like it was week 1 against Colorado State. Feels pretty good.
All right, let's dive into our first play here.
The best week 3 college football play. Do you want me to start off? I can start off. All right, I'll make the first impression. All right, so I'm going to go with Stanford's wide receiver, Eli Gallagher, his one-handed catch against Syracuse right here. Look, I mean, it's Syracuse, but Eli Gallagher, this dude has made some spectacular catches. If you remember last year, he actually had a catch against Travis Hunter where he, grabbed the ball off a Hail Mary and dragged Travis Hunter into the end zone with his helmet. It was crazy, but this guy's a human highlight reel for sure.
And then on my play, I have an old school football play that every football fan would enjoy seeing. We got Champ Anthony here from Auburn. Throws, look at that. Clean up, aisle 2, man down, ice up, son, ice up.
Come on,
I mean, it's everything, man. It just gets me salivating. Look at that, helmet off, helmet, clean play.
My
It's a
buddy
great
Elton
play.
Armstrong too, man.
It's a great play.
Man.
Let's go. I mean, come on, a vintage
Didn't have to
old
do
school
Andrew
football
Armstrong
play.
like
That's
that, man.
You talk about SEC football. That's SEC football right there, baby.
Yeah. Well, I've seen catches like that here and there. I mean, it's a one-handed catch. It's not that special anymore. But a hit like that, where the helmet pops off, that's got to take it. I'm going to give the point to Raymond.
It's definitely some SEC. So we'll move on to the best week 2 NFL play. Let's let Raymond go first here.
I'll start off here with Kyren Williams, man. I mean, you'll see here. First off, Matthew Stafford with a nice throw, zipped it right between 2 defenders, and then, somersault into the end zone. I mean, the defender there, moment too big, lights too bright. I kind of froze. He pissed down his leg. Then he just ate turf, going for the ankles like a DB does. They don't want to normally tackle. And then he just ate dirt. Easy somersault into the end zone. Highlight for the kids. Give the ball to the fan in the front row. The 3 fans that showed up for the LA Rams that weekend. So, yeah, I got the somersault TD for Kyren Williams.
All right, well, I'm going to go with more or less of a highlight, more of a clutch moment. So we got Jaden Daniels, this TD, the scary Terry that iced the game against Cincinnati Monday night. This was a spectacular throw. Washington finally has a QB, guys. This is crazy. It was a great throw right into the bucket. Terry gets his knee down, able to secure the catch, inbounds, touchdown, Washington, game over.
I got to give it to Scary Terry. I mean, Kyren Williams, that flip was sick, but he didn't stick it. So I can't give it to him. Terry Williams got to put both of his feet down. Jaden Daniels, he is the future in Washington. First time they've had a good look in their future for their quarterback since RG3.
Absolutely.
I think I just got to give it to TJ here.
All right. So 1-1 going into the third highlight, which is the best MLB highlight of the week. I'll start it off. This is one of the craziest things that could ever happen in baseball. A triple play to clinch the playoffs for the San Diego Padres. You get right here, Manny Machado grounds it, hits it to Jake Conesworth to the first baseman, gets a triple play to end the game. One of the first, I can't even remember the last time I've seen a triple play. The second all season, which is absolutely insane. Just to make it to the playoffs after this, pretty impressive.
And then for me, I just have a feel-good moment. The opening game of the final series in Oakland Coliseum ends off a walk-off hit. Here we got do not know. But hey, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's a feel-good moment because the runner comes in, slide here. He beats the throw, kicks off the series with a feel-good win at a packed house for Oakland Coliseum. You know, it hasn't been like that in a while. But it's glad to see the whole entire city of Oakland come together for this a fantastic moment in this last ever series in Oakland Coliseum. I believe they won the series, I believe.
They did win the series. Very, 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 very sad time for Oakland. But who do you got, Colin?
You know, I mean, a triple play is a triple play. They happen every season. There's 2 this season. But the A's leaving Oakland And all the turmoil that has happened with that situation over the past, I don't know how many years.
You see a walk-off like every week, though, don't you?
Yeah, but not one that's
Alright.
that special. The last series in
It's fine.
the Coliseum after like 63 years of playing there, I think.
It's been a long time, no.
That's
for sure.
just special. I got to give the point to Ray.
All right, let's move on to my favorite one. Favorite one is the worst ump/ref mistake or biggest blooper. I'll go first. Look, Will Levis, man. I guess this is the new JaVale McGee, like Shaq and a Fool, like kind of thing for 1-0 sports. But look at Will Levis here. Okay, against Green Bay, he had this play right here. First of all, this dude just gets. I don't even know if I can say what I want to say. But this is the play that I really want to show. This guy's rolling out in play action. Look at this. He's going to have 3 receivers open downfield. One right in front of him. He can see him perfectly. What does he decide to do? This dude decides to hurdle 2 defenders instead. This guy sucks. This is on a 4th down, by the way. This is on a 4th down. And, of course, there he is putting his hands on his helmet. That's what I got for my biggest blooper.
And then for me, I have mascots versus kids. The yearly tradition is back. I mean, come on, look at this first play. No mercy. We're going to tackle both of y'all. We're just going to tackle both of y'all. The one with the ball and the person that was blocking.
Bananas, man?
Yeah, so then I'm going to give you a little shove, but watch this. The very next play, we're going to come back. Oh, you thought we were done? Nope. Oh, come on, sit down. Didn't learn your lesson the first time. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go low. Face plant into the ground. It was just mascots won by 50, of course, like they do every year. But it's a yearly tradition that I love. That's my biggest blooper / funny moment sports week.
I mean, look, watching little kids get just absolutely stomped on by the mascots is very funny every year. But Will Levis is just so laughable in everything he does. It's like it's just JaVale McGee part 2, but with football. I got to give it to TJ here.
Mayo Man wins it, ties it up 2-2. Let's
Mayo
get
in your
blocked,
coffee is disgusting.
We got the last one, 2-2, the win the game between me and Raymond. The best college volleyball play or miscellaneous sport of this week. Raymond, start us off.
Yes, I have the United States men's national team, our Captain America himself, in the biggest derby in Italy, scoring the first goal in the game. As they say in Italy, CC, Poli, as he goes through, skips right through 2 defenders, nice low shot, and then he runs, spamming emotes, spamming Fortnite celebrations. Here we go, silence, whatever that is, chest pump. I feel it all, low shot, our captain. You know, he's one of the most informed wingers in the world at the moment. He's AC Milan's leading goal scorer, representing the United States abroad proudly. That's Christian Pulisic.
It's a nasty goal, even nastier celebration. Let's go with mine's Chelsea Gray's back-to-back dimes for the Aces in the WNBA. I'm a big fan of good passing. This is a nice play right here. No look, right there, dart. Nice finish, too. And then this one, the exact same, or the next play right here, nice play behind 2 defenders to Jai Wilson. This is a very nice back-to-back dimes for Chelsea Gray, for sure.
And I agree. Those are 2 great-looking passes. But Christian Pulisic, I mean, that was a solo goal. I think he ran past 4 defenders, put it past the goalie, and then hit all 5 of his signature celebrations. He did his little tattoo thing. He hit the jump. He shushed them in front of the, the Inter Milan fans, too. It's so toxic. That's so funny. I got to give it to Ray.
I respect it. All right. Well, thank you very much, Colin, for joining us for this B-Block segment. You'll be back for the D-Block segment, but first, before we get to that, me and Raymond, we're going to talk a little bit about Texas athletics in the next block, so you won't want to miss it on the 1-0 Sports Show.
Welcome back to the 1-0 show, and now we're going to dive into some Texas athletics. Firstly, starting with the Longhorns have been 4-0 covering the spread this season. They are currently 38.5 favorites against Mississippi State this weekend in their SEC conference game debut. Do you think the streak will continue, TJ?
Yeah, I believe so. Mississippi State doesn't pose too much of a threat to me. They lost 41-16 at home to Toledo. I guess that was a hot take. Mississippi State gave up a bunch of points to a really struggling Florida offense. I have to go with my gut, say Texas covers this game. Texas has done the weaker opponents this season. They've been nothing short but dominant. They haven't been playing with their food. They've allowed 22 points in 4 games. They put up 50 in 3 of those 4 games. Now Jeff Lebby, who's the OC for OU last year, comes in. They put up 34 points on our defense last year, but you got to remember he doesn't have Dylan Gabriel. He doesn't have the weapons that he had last time. He has a backup QB this time. And Mississippi State, look, they can maybe score a touchdown or 2 with Jeff Lebby, but I'm going to say that Texas covers the spread, gets another 50.
I say no, not this week. I have a feeling we'll get out early to a big enough lead by halftime, and I feel like by mid-third quarter, Sark will call off the dogs because we're getting into SEC play now, and now after Mississippi State, we have back-to-back weeks after our bye of tough opponents with OU and Georgia, and we want to go into that game as healthy as possible. So I believe we're going to get enough lead, and by the third quarter, we're going to call off the dogs, slow the tempo down, heavy run offense, bring in the freshmen, the second-year players, and then, get them some experience. So I say we don't cover the spread this week.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we do get those backups in pretty early. I don't know what they're going to do with running backs. It seems like I think they have 5 running backs on the injury report this week. Pretty unfortunate for sure, but our next question is Texas's diverse offense has seen a lot of players find the end zone and makes sense when the team has averaged 47.5 points a game so far. With that being said, who gets Texas on the board first on Saturday?
I'm going to say Jaden Blue. I'm going to predict that he continues his hot streak when he scored 3 touchdowns last week and get us on the board first this week. Jaden Blue, obviously, we have a very injured running back room right now, and he's carrying it at the moment with both leadership role and production, and I expect that to continue with our first week in playing our first SEC conference game.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns for Jaden Blue last week, and he went into the press box afterwards and said that he thought he could have played better too, which is a great sign for him. For me, I'm going to say give me Ryan Wingo to score the first touchdown. I don't know why. Wingo has been a great deep threat so far for this team. He's definitely one of Arch's favorite targets if Arch is the starter for Saturday. But I think how he has played in his last 2 games, they start implementing him more with Quinn out there at QB2. Give me Ryan Wingo with a big play for the first TD for Texas. All right. And then the next question we have is Texas QB Arch Manning, after a strong performance against UTSA, had a rocky debut start against ULM last Saturday, despite the Longhorns getting the 51-3 win. What went wrong for Arch, and should Longhorn fans be worried with his development?
Firstly, I don't think we should be worried. I think these are what we call growing pains from a young quarterback. This is his first game as a starter. This is the first game where opponents actually had the chance to scout for him. Mm-hmm. So I didn't expect him to go out there and score on his first play like he did last week. I expected for our defense to come in there prepared to face him. Now they have a little bit more film on him. And so that was a performance that I expected. I expect him to get better from this. So I say Texas fans, don't look too much into it. Yes, he had a couple interceptions. The second one, I believe it should have been caught. It was actually catchable. Our receiver should have caught it. The first one, you can say, hey, you can throw that away. Don't try to be a hero after he broke away from the first sack attempt and then tried to get the ball away before the second one. But obviously, these are what we call growing pains when you see a young quarterback like that. So I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, I think what we learned from Arch Manning this game is that he's just simply not ready, but he still has the potential to become one of the greatest quarterbacks for Texas. We saw him struggle with his timing on throws. We saw him struggle with reading zone. It seemed like he got impatient at times. He just wanted to sling it downfield a bunch. And you know what? It sounds a lot like Quinn Ewers in his first year, too. Then that's my opinion. It's also funny that Quinn Ewers also threw a pick to ULM in his first drive and his first start. So, I mean, look, I think Arch, he'll be fine. He just needs time to develop, but by no means should Texas fans be worried about his play against ULM. I think he will be completely fine for sure. So, anyways, that was a pretty quick block, I would say. We're going to go into the D block segment after we return. We're going to start a new segment, the debate segment. Michael Alvarez is going to be joining us, and you won't want to miss it coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show. All right, welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We got a big panel with us today. Joining us again, Colin Flickinger. We also have Michael Alvarez, the 1-0 host, or the 1-0 executive producer. What am I saying? 1-0 executive producer. Look at this man. He's so happy to be on. And then we also have Michael Davis. Is this your TSTV Sports debut?
This is my debut.
Look at that, man. Two on the same panel. Let's go. Let's get this started. Mike, how are we going to do this debate?
All right. Well, first of all, it's great to be back. I haven't been on this in a while. I've taken over the reins from TJ from last semester to, kind of produce the show and all. But, it's I love hosting, man. I love being on the show. I love being in front of the camera. It's a great time. I love being out with these guys. I have a great time. So anyway, enough of my introduction. So this new block, we call it Let's Talk Sports. It's very simple. It's kind of just a debate. There's going to be two topics. These are two teams. I'm going to swing a topic. Y'all are going to argue one way. They're going to argue the other. Whoever gives me the best argument, whoever persuades me in their opinion the best way, they win the topic. And then obviously we have three topics. Y'all know the first two, but there's going to be a surprise one, kind of like College Crossfire, Rapid Fire, shout out College Crossfire. Yeah. And it's going to be a good time. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I'm going to read this first question. All right, so topic number one. Reggie Bush forfeited his Heisman in 2005 due to pressure from the media after allegations that Bush and his family were accused of receiving cash, travel expenses, and rent-free home from the two sports agents. USC was punished for lack of institutional control and forced to vacate 14 games Bush played in, including all of the 2005 wins and the final two games of 2004 national title season. USC also faced a 2-year bowl ban and 30% scholarship reduction. Now, due to new NIL rulings, Bush is suing the USC, his former school, the Pac-12, and the NCAA in a bid to recoup money made on his name, image, and likeness during his career with the Trojans almost 2 decades ago. So, the argument you can say is it fair for Reggie to sue, and should he be compensated, yes or no? We're going to start off with Ray. Go ahead.
Yes, 100% Reggie Bush should be compensated, at least for initially, just for time since NIL officially became legal from the time back in 2021 or 2020, I believe, until current day. Since that time, I've looked. USC has financially benefited. How? They have posted recaps and YouTube highlights and full games of those 2004 and those 2005 teams on their YouTube channels. They have also Reggie. They just had fans voted for Reggie Bush as the #1 USC player of all time. And they have a whole little section on their website dedicated to Reggie Bush for that, promoting that. Also, he's back. They have also accepted the Heisman Trust, a replica of the Heisman Trophy that they got that from the Heisman Trust. So recognizing that Reggie Bush is officially everything, he's good, he's cleared, so they even willingly acknowledge that they should pay him. So USC at the minimum, the case is similar to the alumni case with Michigan. They're suing the Big Ten and Michigan University and the NCAA, similar to Reggie Bush suing USC, NCAA, and the Pac-12. So yes, 100%, I believe, along with Colin, he's about to stay while also combining our choices.
So Reggie Bush, the claim is that he took money from agents for his play. The NCAA not reinstates, but instates NIL and allows players to get paid for their name, image, and likeness. I'm not sure that specifically taking houses are, but everyone in that era was taking cars, especially from the big schools. They were giving out cars, they were giving out, free housing, paying these players. Why is it that Reggie Bush is the one that gets punished, but no one else did? And none of them had their stuff taken away from them. But Reggie Bush has to get his Heisman taken away. I think he fully deserves to have his Heisman reinstated. He does deserve to get the money back that he would have lost.
All right, well, the thing about that is everyone's a Reggie Bush fan. But now we have a counter-argument saying, well, this was 2 decades ago. TJ, go and start.
Well, I'm going to say that there's definitely been more than Reggie Bush who've been in trouble with getting money from illegal sources. But look, this is opening up Pandora's box. You're allowing somebody who didn't play in the NIL era to earn NIL offerings because they're playing replays or whatever. Look, does this mean Johnny Manziel gets to sue too? Does Johnny Manziel even know how to sue? Is this even gonna how is this even gonna work out? Is Texas, is all these players? Is Texas never ever gonna show the Rose Bowl ever again on their social medias at the stadium on Longhorn Network, which is their staple, playing the Rose Bowl. What's going to happen now? Because if they keep playing it, then Vince Young, all these players are going to come out and say that they deserve the money too. And now this is all just a bunch of greed. It's not college football anymore. It's just straight up greed. That's what I have to say.
Well, I can pose a quick counter argument to these.
Okay,
These
okay.
universities are greedy. From that sense, they're still USC is still benefiting off the name of Reggie Bush to this day, with those highlights, with those videos during recruitment, putting all those packages together, video games, posters, autographs. USC is a brand. They are a blue blood, and when you think USC, a lot of people think Reggie Bush. So that's why I think Reggie Bush, especially they've been struggling. If you look at USC as a program the past 10 years, they have not been the powerhouse that they have not been a powerhouse that they have always been. But they're still there. They're still considered a blue blood, mainly because of the time that Reggie Bush spent on that field, putting in the work. And to me, he's the sole factor of why they won those national championships. So I feel like he should mainly get benefited for that.
Well, you
Okay.
can say the same thing about
There we go.
everybody else. I mean,
Here we go.
everybody's highlights, you can't pay everybody. And then you opened up a can of worms for Denard Robinson, Diana Taurasi, Vince Carter, people who played back then other sports too. They can't all get paid. It was illegal back then. He just happened to get caught, which is the case with a lot of things that happen.
But they didn't have their crowning achievement of their career stripped away from him for getting paid. He lost his Heisman. The NCAA still doesn't recognize his Heisman win. Okay, dude. But the Heisman Trust recognizes it. Only after Reggie Bush had to basically lobby for 3 years to get his Heisman reinstated. I mean, taking away the man's crowning achievement, I feel like that is rights for him to be able to sue the NCAA.
Oh, do you want me to say something?
Oh, I mean, if you want, y'all attack each other.
No, I mean, yeah, it's just like I just think it's again Pandora's box, man. We're letting too many. It's gonna really open up a lot of lawsuits. It's just gonna get really messy. We don't want to see this in college football. It's already getting messy with a lot of stuff regarding NIL, I believe. So it's just that's just my argument.
Yeah, it's going to turn into a complete business, and the NCAA is going to go bankrupt because they have to pay everybody. It's not just Reggie Bush. He's going to open up a whole can.
Well, in this situation, it is just Reggie Bush, and Reggie Bush was voted by the fans of USC as the best player in their program's history, and USC are willingly recognizing that by accepting the Heisman Trust replica Heisman, accepting that, okay, Reggie Bush is in the clear now. And they're still benefiting off his name to this day. So Reggie Bush, the best player in their program, the person that's making their money, filling their pocket, these billionaire donors, they're not making all this money right now. They're not investing all that money into the program without what Reggie Bush did. That's my final point.
It's all about money, man. It's all about money. What's next, man? They're gonna add a 10% talent fee to the games now. Oh wait, that's already happening now, man. It's just it's unfortunate.
I mean, great points all around. I love y'all's little banter back and forth. You start yelling at each other, argue. I don't care. That's what we're here to do. I mean, it doesn't matter what I believe on it. It was who I thought was going to persuade me the most. I love the point y'all brought up that even though it is just Reggie Bush suing it, their argument was that it's going to open a box to other players. I mean, a big one would probably be Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel, we all know the story. We all know the story about Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, whatever it is. But y'all did make up great points about he is the face of USC. He did bring them. He was voted their #1 player in the program of all time. It's tough. It's a tough way to go. I don't know which way I want to go. I want to say that based on just the proven facts that were thrown out there, I have to swing it their way. I love the argument. I love the argument that it's going to open up a box, but like you said, it hasn't. So if Reggie wins this,
But it will.
it could open a box. Yeah, you're right. It is going to be the NCAA. People are already hating the NCAA for being a big money scheme now with NIL just already being a thing anyway. So, but either way, I have to swing this their way. I agree with what they had to say, and we're going to move on to the next topic. Topic 2. The Panthers benched the 2023 #1 overall pick, Bryce Young, after week 2 for Andy Dalton. Just one game in, Dalton leads the Panthers to their first win of the season, put up 36 points, almost tripling their point total in the first 2 games. Young, in a press conference after week 2, talked about his poor play, putting the losses on him, and practically taking the blame. Do you agree with the benching of Bryce Young this early into the season and his career? TJ, y'all can start off.
I agree because Andy Dalton's going to get the most out of his offense. It's all about who's going to get the most out of the offense. It's not Bryce Young. He's not making good decisions. I don't think they should have thrown him out there to the Wolves. They played him like one possession in preseason, so he's really not set up. I think he'll benefit from sitting and maybe have like a Sam Darnold type of situation.
Oh, do you want? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with this. I think it benefits both Bryce Young and the Panthers. You look in baseball, it's very common for a young player that's struggling to get demoted back to the minors. Even if they are a good player, good prospect, this is kind of what I see. You might think it could destroy Young's confidence, but what would be worse, benching him now or leaving him in for the rest of the season and destroying his confidence that way? Because he's not going to make any improvements over the season, I believe. I think, spending 60 minutes every Sunday, playing as the worst quarterback in the league is definitely going to destroy his confidence. If you want to leave some value for him for trade value as well, this is a great time to just, you still got the potential with him now. If you, again, leave him out for the rest of the season, he struggles again. Now it's hard to get trade value out of him. I think this is good as a business aspect for the Panthers, and it's also good for Bryce Young in the long run. Again, I like the Sam Darnold kind of comparison there.
I don't think that the sitting him and then Andy Dalton immediately coming in and putting, 38 points with that offense
36.
is good. 36 points for that offense is good for his trade value. The fact that they didn't get rid of him after last week, get him traded somewhere that he could actually learn. He's playing in Carolina, which is a notorious quarterback killer, right? You look at Baker Mayfield. He looked terrible with them 2 years ago. Now he's 2-1 with the Bucs. He looks really good. Sam Darnold, like we talked about earlier, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. He was playing in Carolina after New York. He also looked terrible. I mean, this is a place where young quarterbacks cannot succeed, and they're keeping him here. They sat him. Andy Dalton goes out, puts up 36 points with an offense. That completely destroys whatever trade value Bryce Young had left. Their best option would have been to trade him a week ago. Their best option right now is to play him until they can trade him and stop making it look like Andy Dalton is a good quarterback. Because he's not, and he is still leading this team to explosive offensive games.
It seems like you agree with the benching, though, right? You kind of just talked about his trade value.
I don't think they should bench him. I think they need to get him out of there. He cannot play behind this offensive line. He's not athletic enough to play behind their terrible offensive line. They need to put him in a situation where he can succeed and try to get whatever value they can for him. They're not doing that by benching him. By not letting him play until they can get rid of him, they're just tanking his trade value. They're ruining their franchise for the future. They're getting less value.
The quarterback position in the NFL is all about confidence. You mentioned that you wanted to stop bench him now, but save his confidence. I don't know if you've been paying attention to Bryce Young. Bryce Young's confidence, it's done. I'm telling you right now, the days in Bryce Young's days in Carolina, it's over. It's cooked. It's done. It's over. It's done for. You cannot say in the same sentence, we're going to bench him, but he's also our quarterback at the same time. If you say that this guy is our quarterback, he needs to be on the field playing, producing, because you already have given him the keys. That is the problem with the NFL today. We are giving these quarterbacks the keys way too early. So since you already gave him the keys, you can't just take it away. That's like giving a kid a car. You can't give him a car and then take the keys away and then expect him to be like, oh, no, you gave him the keys. You gave him your franchise. You mismanaged the situation from the beginning. Bryce Young, Frank Wright never wanted, the head coach last year never wanted Bryce Young. The owner overruled everybody. David Tepper, the worst owner in the league. Notorious, my partner just said it. Quarterback killer. Baker Mayfield, we see how he's doing. Sam Darnold, we see how he's doing. So what David Pepper should have did, since he wants to be Mr. Control Everything, keep Bryce Young at the starting quarterback, keep the same coaching staff around him for more than one season, because no quarterback is going to succeed under that. And two, Bryce Young, can anybody guess how many preseason games did year 2 Bryce Young play? One. He played one possession. One possession. Derek Carr, a veteran, he played 2 preseason games. Matthew Stafford down there played the whole preseason game. So it's just a whole situation of mismanagement around Bryce Young to the point where it's over. His confidence, you can't bring him back. He's not going to be the same. His days in Carolina is over. So from that standpoint, I don't believe benching him was the right decision, because now you can't go back to him.
I think you can go back to him. I think you give him some time. His confidence, I disagree with you there, because if you keep him out there, he just gets beat up the whole year, doesn't do anything good. He's not going to be confident that way either. So I think you traded David Tepper is a horrible owner. I mean, he traded DJ Moore, all those picks. I mean, the best receiver. I think they invested in him. I think he'll do good, or they'll trade him.
So what if Andy Dalton goes out there the next 8 games and goes on a tear? What does that do to his confidence at that point?
I don't think Andy Dalton's their guy. I think Bryce Young is their guy for now. Maybe if Andy Dalton does it, they'll trade him. But I still think benching him is the best thing, especially for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, Andy Dalton's definitely not their guy. It's not like he's their franchise quarterback or anything. Bryce Young has had that label before, and I think that's going to come back. Andy Dalton's just kind of a way to, kind of give Bryce Young a moment to kind of step back and realize what's going on with his motions, with how he's playing in the offense. I think this is just a good decision overall. Let him rest up a little bit. Let him find out what's going wrong with him and the quarterback position. So that's what I got to say.
Has that ever worked before? When they thrust a quarterback into, like, they play him for a full season. He did not do well last year. And they play him for the first 2 games, and he plays terrible. And they bench him. Has that ever allowed a quarterback to come back? The only one I can even think of is Drew Brees. But Drew Brees wasn't even playing that bad.
He had to leave.
He had to leave. They made him get out of there. They picked someone else over him. They said, he isn't our guy. We took him. We tried it. It didn't work. They made him leave and go to New Orleans. I don't think sitting a quarterback and then letting him come back has ever worked for an NFL team.
And at the same time, the head coach said, we're trying to save our season. If Bryce Young is your guy and you're trying to save your season, you don't go to Andy Dalton. You just don't. You don't. That to me is saying we're tossing the white flag up and we're just going to sit. We're giving it up and we're just going to sit Bryce Young for the whole year, and then it's just going to kill his confidence. We're done. It's just a whole mishandled situation. They don't even. The head coach don't even believe what he's saying. He's saying 3 different things in one sentence. So the whole situation in Carolina is just a big issue. And at this point, like I said earlier, the days, at this point, just start counting the days. Bryce Young will not be a Panther next season.
Do y'all think that Andy Dalton or Bryce Young has a better chance with the Panthers to succeed?
I think they're either way. That roster is so terribly constructed that there's no way for a quarterback to succeed, especially because neither of them are particularly athletic. They can't really get out of the pocket and create their own plays when that pocket eventually does collapse every play because of how bad the O-line is. They don't really have weapons to throw it to. So I don't think there's any quarterback in the NFL right now that could succeed with this Panthers roster.
I think it's obvious that Andy Dalton gets the most out of them. I mean, last year he did good with them. Adam Thielen and him have an obvious, apparent connection. He got however many yards he had this week. I mean, I can't see anyone saying that Bryce Young gets more out of that team than Andy Dalton does.
I mean, Andy Dalton might get more out of the team, but they're still saying Bryce Young is our guy. They're saying Bryce Young is our guy for the future. That's at least what the team is saying publicly. And then they bench him, and he's not playing anymore. And they want Andy Dalton they said, save our season, like you said. The head coach said they're bringing Andy Dalton to try to save the season. Yet they're saying that Bryce Young is their guy. There's no way that those two things work. You can't bring in a quarterback to save your season and still leave the guy that you just kicked out for, how old is Andy Dalton now, 35? Like a 35-year-old past his prime quarterback. It just doesn't work.
All right. Y'all have torn each other's heads off. We've been killing them here. I'll make a pick. Okay. Y'all great. Y'all put up great arguments. Y'all had a lot of emphasis and everything you said. You had a lot of passion and everything you said. I mean, it's hard. I mean, y'all, Bryce Young, I can put out my point from what y'all said that benching Bryce Young this early, I think could work, possibly. He is a young quarterback. I mean, he is in an awful situation. Don't get me wrong there. The Panthers are a terrible program. They have no upside to anything. They have no – I mean, because Andy Dalton – how old is Andy Dalton? He's in his late 30s?
Late 30s.
35. Yeah, Andy Dalton – I mean, like you said, Andy Dalton's not their – why benching maybe not as makes sense for Andy Dalton, but I mean maybe if you put Bryce Young behind him, it kind of boosts him to a start. You know, maybe hey, I got to pick it up. I got to whatever I can learn from Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's he's a veteran quarterback. He's got a lot of experience back of his hand. So I have to probably swing it to TJ and them side just because I think that benching him now and giving him a chance to see it might light a fire under him. You know, maybe he wants to come out and be better. So I have to swing it that way. We're going in 1-1. The final question now, y'all prepared for these first two questions, but here's the third one that y'all had no idea was coming until right now. Now I'm gonna spring it out because if you know anything about me, you knew this was coming. TJ knows exactly what's coming. TJ knows exactly what's coming. I don't know if y'all know me enough to know exactly what's coming, but it's a simple one. I'm not gonna read out a big description. It's a simple one. It's a very simple one. Growing up, I played basketball. Basketball was my sport. NBA, NCAA, all that. I love basketball. Okay. And you might think I'm swinging bias in this, but I want a good argument. Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Whoever answers first, you can fight your argument. Go.
All right, we're going first. All right, can we start? All right.
Go ahead.
We want to go LeBron? Yeah, we're going to say LeBron is the GOAT, first of all. All right. How many consecutive finals appearances did he have in that run between 2016? Well, he's been to so many finals. He's been to so many finals, 4 NBA finals where he's won. Look, number 1 in points scored ever. MJ, he's been 13 years. I guess you could say he's won the championships, but what else can you say about MJ? Other than the 6 rings. The 6 rings, all he did. Scottie Pippen helped him out a lot with that. I think LeBron James is the better player than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, LeBron James, I mean, the impact itself should speak volumes. And I think that LeBron can do everything Michael Jordan can do, just a little bit better. With a little bit more size, a little bit more athletic ability.
He's a better passer. He's a better defender, I think, in my opinion. He's had more. He has more IQ. He's a better shooter.
Talk to me when LeBron puts up 40 points per game in a playoff series.
Has he not? Did MJ put up a triple-double in the NBA Finals?
I like how when you knocked MJ, you mentioned his teammates, but when you're praising LeBron, you didn't mention the fact that LeBron has played with statistically more Hall of Fame teammates.
But who did MJ play in the finals? Who did MJ play in the playoffs?
Also, statistically, MJ has gone against more Hall of Famers and All-Stars en route to the finals and in the finals. So that argument.
But did he play a 73-19? Did he play a dynasty?
He never
the
played against the
73
dynasty. He was
played against the
72-10.
old Lakers.
He didn't have to play against a super. He didn't have to play against a super dominant team. We're not
gonna knock some Sean Kemp and.
It's not a dynasty though.
But
you're not like Golden State.
But you're acting like he went against great, phenomenal teams. John Stockton, Karl Malone, beat them twice. Went against the Supersonics, was also a 60-win team. Also beat the Suns, who was also a 60-win team. Trailblazers was also a 60-win team. So you cannot just act like he didn't play anybody. Just because he beat them and dominated them, you can't knock him for that. He's that great.
I'm not saying he didn't play anybody. I'm just saying that LeBron's competition has been better, actually, in my opinion.
The reason why LeBron's competition was better is because Jordan was the best. Right, all of his teams, 72-10 team. That was the record for the longest. The Warriors went 73-9. They played their starters all through the season. They were tired for the playoffs, and then Bron beat them. Sure. The only reason he beat them is because they didn't rest up at the end of the season. The fatigue through all the playoffs. They played a 7-game series in Oklahoma City.
Draymond did miss Game 5. Let's not forget that. Draymond did miss Game 5. Greg Popovich also gifted LeBron a ring. Right. Let's not forget that.
But didn't Golden State not score a single bucket for like the last 5 minutes in Game 7? They could have easily won Game 7 on their side. It's not Draymond because Draymond got suspended. That is not the reason why the Warriors lost. They lost because of their own incompetency and LeBron James's greatest block in NBA history against Andre Iguodala.
You want to talk about greatest in NBA history? Let's talk about LeBron's greatest failures. When he averaged, 13 points in 2011 finals. He gave Dirk a one-man team.
Defensive J.J. Barea, baby. All defensive J.J. Barea.
Yeah.
J.J. Barea guarding me. guarding me in the post.
That was.
I mean, you mean JJ Barea guarding you in the post, and you're giving me 8 points in a finals game? I don't think so. Jordan would never. Jordan would never.
But was Jordan in the finals that actually? I mean, he might have.
Yeah, was Jordan in the finals? I don't know. Was Jordan
Was he
ever
that
not
young
winning
in
in
the
the
finals?
finals?
What constitutes? Is it pure individual skill that y'all are going off?
We're going off everything. He said greatest of all time, greatest legacy behind you. You want to know what the greatest legacy you can have is? Making it to the top stage, the NBA Finals 6 times, and winning all 6 of those.
I honestly think it's hard to compare different eras because you play Kyrie, who's not arguably not a top 5 player today. Back then, I think you're going to say he's the greatest too. Because nobody's guarding Kyrie in 1990s.
Yeah, but we are comparing eras, and
I
we're
think
talking
you're
about
talking
a guy
about comparing
who...
eras. In the 1990s, there was at least like 4 or 6 teams in there that were just starting off their franchise. The Minnesota Timberwolves, Miami Heat, they weren't even good, but they were in the league. The Orlando Magic were one of the only exceptions where an expansion team actually did good. MJ was playing against lesser teams too. It was lesser.
LeBron was in a conference with the Detroit Pistons, and his best competition
but
going
also the
up
Milwaukee
to the
Bucks.
finals.
Also the Milwaukee Bucks
In
and also the
2013,
Indianapolis
in
Pacers.
2013,
He was never playing against the Bucks when they were
2013, he played against a sub
Not in the
sub
playoffs, but
500
they're
eight seeded team in the first round in Milwaukee, and then the next year he played a sub 500 Charlotte Bobcats team in the first round of the playoffs. So LeBron has had his fair share of cupcakes in the playoffs too. Let's not act like that he just every team that he played against. Yes, let's take advantage. A lot of people bring up the 2015 Hawks. Look at that 2015 Hawks team, and you tell me.
Shout out Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver was an all-star that year. I
They
love
had
me
4
some
All-Stars on
Kyle
that team, and
Korver.
none of them were good.
But I love me some Kyle Korver.
I don't know, man.
But
60 wins is
But
pretty
that
good.
also falls under the all-stars that LeBron has faced en route to the finals.
But it was a
So,
60-win team though.
you
Like,
had
it was a 60-win team.
a 60-win team that was very fraudulent that went 7
I
games.
don't think 60 wins is fraudulent. I'm gonna
Very
be honest.
fraudulent. They went 7 games with the Washington Wizards that previous round, and then the first round that year they went 6 games with the 8-seeded Atlanta Hawks. The 8th. No, not
We're
Atlanta
talking
Hawks.
about- we're
Milwaukee.
talking about the
Milwaukee.
I think the
Milwaukee.
Wizards-
I gotta kill it. I gotta kill it.
Well,
I gotta kill. Y'all are murdering LeBron too much. Calm down.
I'm just
Calm.
saying.
Everyone stop. Everyone
his-
Ain't that the
stop.
whole point?
Okay.
I mean, you're making us argue for Jordan.
Hold on.
That's the whole point to kill
Hold
LeBron.
on. Hold on. I know. Hold on. Oh, okay. I have my pick.
No resume is perfect, though. I will say.
This is about to hurt. This is about to hurt real bad. I told myself, knowing this question was coming, I had to kill all my bias towards LeBron. They just put up a better argument. I hate it. I hate that they did it. I hate that they did it. If y'all put me in this argument, I would murder Jordan. Y'all didn't glaze LeBron enough. Y'all attacked Jordan too much. I gotta start glazing LeBron more. That's all we had to do.
We did at the start.
I know, but it wasn't enough. Trust me, it kills me. It kills me. I had to say that. It kills me. I had to say
I
that.
will say LeBron.
They just
was
put
even
up
mentioned enough.
for the integrity of the game. For the integrity of the game, they put up the better argument. It's just for the integrity of the game.
We
But
said Jordan more.
that's it. I mean,
Fought
TJ,
harder.
break us out. I can't take it no more.
Jordan's the GOAT.
All right, yeah, man, that was a fun little, good debut debate session right there. It was a yap session for sure. When we come back, we're gonna do our pick'ems. It'll be, I believe, who's joining us? Michael will be joining us for the pick'ems. You won't want to miss it on a Want to Know Sports Show. All right, we are back for the last block of the 1-0 Sports Show. We're going to be talking about the biggest games of this weekend. Michael is back with us today, or for this block. We're going to start off with the first matchup, which is number 20 ranked Oklahoma State going to Manhattan, Kansas to play 23 ranked Kansas State. Who is going to win this game? I'll start off with you, Raymond.
I'm going to go with the home team here. I'm going to go with Kansas State. I have them bouncing back and winning, getting a win over Oklahoma State. And I have Oklahoma State falling out of the top 25. Ollie Gordon, main factor. Ollie Gordon is getting off to a slow start, and I don't see that Oklahoma State sustaining their offense and Alex Bowman sustaining that for the rest of the season.
And then Michael?
I'm going to have to go with K-State. I think they're going to have to run Avery Johnson a lot because passing is not too effective for him right now. Neither is the Oklahoma State offense. Alan Bowman is like 50 years old, and he got benched last week. Ollie Gordon's got off to a slow start, and if they can't get him going, they can't really get anything going. So I think I'll have to take K-State in kind of ugly game on the ground.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sweep it too. Kansas State, they're 14-6 off a loss with their current head coach. I think Avery Johnson, he did struggle against BYU obviously last week, but he's shown his potential. I think he's a good quarterback. Arkansas scored 30-plus points on the Pokes. I'm going to go with the Wildcats for this game. The next game we have is a pretty hyped matchup. Colorado, after their big win against Baylor in double overtime, is going to play UCF in Florida. Michael, who do you have for this game?
I have Colorado. I always like their explosive offense. It's really exciting to see. It's going to be a good matchup, though, because Colorado offensive line is not too good. UCF's pass rush is not too good either, and run stopping. But I think UCF will give them some business on the ground because they're averaging like number one, I think, in FBS on the ground. So I think it'll be a good matchup. I got Colorado.
Yeah, their running back R.J. Harvey has been absolutely great. He's had more than 120 yards in all three games. Colorado doesn't really have an intimidating defense. I don't think Drip and Aura gets Colorado past the UCF. Give me UCF.
I got UCF also because of KJ Jefferson leading that offense, and also UCF. I also have them as a dark horse team to win the Big 12 this year, and I'm going to ride with them for the rest of the season. Give me UCF.
All right, so we got the next game, another ranked matchup. Number 11 ranked Illinois, man. Number 11 is, I think that's supposed to be number 19, actually. Number 19, Illinois ranked at number 9, Penn State. This game is going to be at 12 o'clock. We'll start off with you, Raymond.
I'm going to go Penn State. I know Penn State hasn't been the most impressive team in the nation so far this season, but they're at home. Illinois, their program has been on the come up for the past couple of years, but I don't think this is the year that they win in Happy Valley. Give me Penn State.
I have to agree. I go with Penn State. I wanted to take Illinois because of what they've been doing. Good win last week. Luke Altameyer's like 70% completion rate so far. But I don't see them winning in Beaver Stadium, and what might be a unintentional whiteout game this week. But yeah, I got Penn State. I don't think Illinois can take it.
Not so fast, man. I'm picking the Fighting Illini. Illinois is 2-0 against ranked teams so far this season. And Penn State, I watched them against Bowling Green a couple of weeks ago. I was not impressed with Penn State at all. They got exposed in the game. I'm going to say Illinois wins a close game right here in Penn State. So the next game I have, another ranked matchup, number 15 Louisville at number 16 Notre Dame. I guess I could start with this. I'm going to pick Notre Dame on this. They're bringing out the green jerseys for this game. They haven't really been the best on offense, but I'm still not really impressed with Louisville this season. I like Riley Leonard. I like the Notre Dame defense. It's been led by Xavier Watts. He's been locked down. Give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, same here. I'm going Notre Dame. I feel like Notre Dame has been playing on a chip on their shoulder ever since they got upset by Northern Illinois. So give me Notre Dame. And, yeah, their offense is kind of shaky, but at the same time, Louisville is no special either on offense. So give me Notre Dame.
I got Louisville. I see Notre Dame as a slightly more pass-capable Michigan team because they're really just going to have to get it done on the ground. Riley Leonard is not looking too good. I mean, he can run a little bit, but Louisville, I think they could have put up 40-plus if they didn't get some plays called back against Georgia Tech. And I think that Louisville team's good. That defense is really good. I think they'll take it home.
I like it. We're getting a lot of different answers for Pick'em so far. This one's going to be an interesting one. Probably it has to be the game of the week. Number 2, Georgia at number 4, Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium at 6:30, prime time for the SEC. We'll go with you, Michael. Who do you have winning?
I have Alabama. I think there's just something there that just puts them over Georgia. I think both teams have amazing freak athletes of linebackers that are going to be rangy. I think Alabama has let up a lot of open receivers. Nobody's taken advantage yet. Carson Beck might. But I think both teams are going to have to rely on deep threats. I think Jalen Milroe is going to have to run the ball and throw it deep to Ryan Williams, and I think they'll take it.
Yeah, I think Kirby Smart. He's 1-5 against Alabama, but I think he makes it 2-5 on Saturday. Milroe, he hasn't been running throwing the ball like people have kind of expected him to. They've had struggle pulling away from teams like USF. Yes, Georgia struggled against Kentucky, but a defense with Michael Williams, all these players for the Bulldogs, I think they pulled through. Carson Beck will find his way. Alabama, they just haven't been as intimidating as usual. In Georgia, they have a lot of fight for. They got to fight after being demoted from number 1 in the nation. I think they have a lot of big chip on their shoulder. So I'm gonna go Georgia.
Yeah, like you said, this game, to me, in my opinion, this game, whoever wins this game will be the new number 1 ranking next week, just off merit and based off strength of opponent. So, but also, I want just a little personal matchup. I want to see a 1 versus 2 matchup in a couple weeks. So, give me Georgia. So, go dog, sick 'em. So, give me Georgia.
All right, so we got a Georgia majority on that one. Now we're going to move on to the professional side of football. We got the Eagles playing against the Buccaneers, both of them 2-1 on the season, starting at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Who do you have, Raymond?
Give me the Bucs. The Eagles is the most overrated team in the NFL, and they've been the most overrated team for about 2 years now. Nick Sirianni is not a coach. I actually like Baker Mayfield. I wasn't at Texas when he was at OU, so I actually grew a kind of appreciation for him. A good old shake and bake. So give me shake and bake and the Bucs on Sunday at noon.
Yeah, I would say give me a replay of last year's wild card matchup. The Buccaneers win. Baker Mayfield bounces back from a stinker against the Broncos. The Eagles defense played really well last week, but with some of it mostly the fact that the Saints were just finally showing everyone who they truly are on offense. But who knows? I really think that the Buccaneers have a better offense. I think they also have a better defense. Give me the Bucs in this matchup.
I think the Bucs have a little banged up team. I know Vita Vea's coming back this week. Antoine Winfield, I think, will be out. I love Baker Mayfield. Eagles are very banged up too. I mean, they lost. They got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I don't see them coming back, trying to make it before their bye week. I see them resting up. But Jalen Hurts is my favorite player. I might be a little bit biased. I think the Eagles' defense will get done again this week, and I think they can pull through with Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley as their main guys this week and get it up.
All right, so we don't get a sweep again. We're going to go with the Saints and Falcons for the next game at 12 o'clock, a divisional matchup. I'll start off with this one. I'm going to say I think the Saints bring this home due to their defense. I think it's the toughest defense the Falcons have faced so far. I just haven't been as impressed with the Falcons on their offense as I feel like I should be. They have been clutch. They did ruin it against the Chiefs in the last week, but I think the Saints bounce back in a low-scoring game, and they win their game, and the murder rate goes down in New Orleans again.
Yeah, I got the Falcons in this matchup. The Falcons' defense have been really impressive. Raheem Morris has really identified. The Falcons' defense has been their main problem for the past couple of seasons, and he's finally A.J. Terrell as one of the best corners in the league. Jesse Bates is also back there at safety. So they're actually starting to establish a couple of defensive cores, and that offense is starting to slowly find the pieces. Kirk Cousins is finally getting the ball to Kyle Pitts, and we're finally saving my fantasy team now. So give me the Falcons and continue that momentum.
I'm going to take the Saints. It was a little bit ugly last week. Hopefully they get Rashid Shaheed activated again this week, more active in the offense, solely for fantasy purposes too. But I think the interior pressure is how you get Kirk Cousins off his game. And I think the Saints will come through. Offense will be a little bit more explosive this week. I know Alvin Kamara is a little bit banged up, but I think they'll get it done. And that defense is key too.
Majority Saints for that game right there. The next game moving on will be the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers at 12 o'clock. Raymond, I know you got a team. You're repping one of the teams, so I'll start off with you.
Yes, of course, the greatest franchise in NFL history is the Green Bay Packers. It's an easy win going against little brother and the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota, just an overrated franchise. You know, no Super Bowls, but they're considered a historical franchise for some odd reason. But it's just give me the Green Bay Packers. We're going to go. We're at Lambeau. Take care of business. Our savior, Jordan Love, is coming back. So let's go. Give me the Green Bay Packers.
All right, who do you have, Michael?
I'm going to take the Vikings. I like what they've been doing. I love Sam Darnold, what he's been doing. I think Jordan Love will play, or else the spread probably wouldn't be minus 2.5 if he wasn't playing. So I think they're erring on the side of Jordan Love playing, but I still think Aaron Jones takes it in a little bit of a revenge game.
Yeah, I could see Aaron Jones getting a good game out here, but I'm going to have to go majority Packers here. I think that the Packers, they've looked dangerous even without Jordan Love last week, and I think they've been facing some pretty great D-lines. They have 612 yards on the ground through 3. Very impressive. I think they run it over Minnesota in this game and get the win, move to 3-1. The next game I have will be the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. This is Sunday Night Football at 7:20. I'll start with this one. I really like how the Bills have been playing. I got Josh Allen in my fantasy quarterback. He's been dominant. He looks like the MVP right now. And Baltimore's only win this season was a game that they collapsed in the second half. The Raiders game was a disaster. I don't think that they can rely on old Derrick Henry week in and week out. Lamar has to do more for the team. And I think the Bills, they have a very diverse offense. Their defense hasn't let anyone play well on them so far. I don't think it changes. The Bills win. Michael, how about you?
I got the Bills too. I like how Josh Allen's been playing this whole offense, the whole team really. Same with the Ravens. I think they're 200-meter sprinters, not 400. In the back half of the game, they're just letting up. And even in the Cowboys game last week, they had a big lead and they almost let it up at the end of the game. So I got the Bills.
I got the Ravens this week. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity for the Ravens to put together a complete game in prime time against a good team, against the MVP frontrunner at the moment. Josh Allen. I feel like this is the perfect game for them to silence all the critics and actually start their championship charge this season. So give me the Ravens.
All right, so look at that. We are at our last game of the week, Seahawks versus Lions on Monday Night Football at 7:15 on ESPN. This is going to be a good game. The Seahawks are 3-1. The Lions are 2-1. Let's go ahead. I could start it off. I think this is the first time that Seattle takes an L this year. I just like the Lions over them. They're a gritty team. They can keep winning close games if needed. Seattle, I just don't know if they have the clutch gene just yet that Detroit kind of has. Give me the Lions in this game.
Yeah, I'll go with the Seahawks. Mike McDonald has gotten this team to believe in the culture. He has established a culture. Same thing that Pete Carroll had done, the previous head coach with Seattle. Give me the Seahawks. Geno Smith has been playing great this season so far, and I expect him to continue that.
I'm going to go with the Lions. I think they're going to have to establish the run game early. Their offense has been a little bit wonky. They have so many weapons, but they're just going to have to establish that run game. And I believe Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy will both be out for the Seahawks, the D tackles. So I think it'll be hard for them to defend the run with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. So as long as they stick to that script and establish that early in the game, they'll be fine.
Great points all around. We're going to see how these games end out over the weekend. I'm excited to see. But that's going to be it for us for this morning. Thank you very much, Michael, for joining us for our Pick'ems. Raymond, it was an amazing time hosting with you. Make sure to tune in next week at 11 a.m. And be sure to check out our sister shows, College Press Box on Monday night at 6:30 p.m. and College Crossfire on Wednesday nights at 9. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your weekend. And let's hope for a Horns win tomorrow.